sex with a fatty or as a fatty. This episode is for both men and women, and it dives into how different sexual pleasure is when you're banging a fat person, or if you've put on some or a ton of weight and you're having sex as a fat person yourself. But here is the twist. This episode applies to uggos as well. You know, ugly people, because beauty is overrated and we are all a mess on the inside. Now I can hear the anal retentive brigade are screaming.
Oh no! Is this a gay indoctrination video? Promoting debauchery and sordid sex? Kaka! The horror!
Relax, this is PG-13 fun. This is a self-deprecating and vulnerable episode talking about insecurities, self-confidence, stigma, and the unexpected pleasure feast. Yes, it will include a couple of very naughty stories, but it is not a porn shoot, so you don't have to bring your lube and tissue paper when you're listening or watching this episode. And even if some of you are uncomfortable, stick around, have a laugh at our expense. And if you're a Muslim watching this, bugger off, you're not welcome here. Don't you have a first cousin or a goat that you need to cuddle? Huh?
Well, if you're fighting stigma, why do you have to call them fatties and uggos? You're a nasty edgelord. I know what you're doing. You're the kind of person who would lecture fat people and give them advice, but insult them at the same time for followers and views. This is a sleazy circus act with a smirk. You're a 𝗀𝗵𝗶𝗴𝗍 and I hate you.
You really suck the fun out of everything, don't you? But listen, thanks for bringing that point up, because we will unpack what and who holds the power of words later in the episodes. But for now, just know that it is very important to learn to laugh at ourselves and not take life too seriously. I mean, come on, look at my chubby cheeks, Exhibit A. But first, welcome to the 𝗀𝗍𝗵𝗶 show, a polemic show where satire and cringe fight lunacy with logic, reason, and facts. So let's get into every wiggly and jiggly bit of it.
Swallow that bikini like a G-string. She 200 pounds with a soft tummy. She don't give a damn.
When we say fat, it is a sliding scale from few extra pound to obese with rolls so epic you would need a map to find the butthole or the belly button, the vagina or the penis. But let's start with talking about banging a fat person when you are in a healthy weight, especially if being fat is not your type and you find it very unattractive, nauseating even. But let me assure you, you are missing on a wild ride of pleasure, both physically and psychologically. And I'm going to use food analogy, not because they are fat, but because sex and eating are twisted siblings in your body's playbook. Think about it. Your digestive system starts with your mouth and it ends with your butthole or your penis or the urethra on the top of the vagina. So as you can see, those same body parts fuel sex together. From kissing to sucking, from eating out to rimming, from penetrating to all dirty deeds that you can dream of. It is a messy and delicious overlap. So imagine you're on a holiday in Asia and they take you to one of those blindfolded tasting restaurants, and then you start savoring something crispy, nutty, and crunchy, and it has an earthy kick, more intense than sunflower seeds. So you order more of it because it is so good. But when they remove the blindfold, you find yourself face to face with a plate full of cockroaches, grasshoppers, crickets, stuff that would make you gag if you saw it first before you eat. But that is not only applies to exotic food or cuisine, even Western one. There are some French cheeses that stink like feet, but when you put it in your mouth, it is like an orgasm in your tongue. And there are some casseroles that looks like vomit, but they taste divine. And you have chili con carne and canned white beans in tomato sauce. They look ugly. But the point is, fat people might not dazzle your eyes, but the sexual rite is a whole different kind of feast. Now listen, I've never had a type, and I had never banged a huge, massive, obese, fat person with flabby rolls to no end until 10 years ago when I was 35. During my years of international escorting, and I had muscle-bound glory back then. Anyway, I was hired by a very lovely lady who mentioned on the phone that she was very fat, and she said, let's meet and see how the chemistry goes. There is no pressure to perform. When she came over and I opened the door, I was dumbfounded by the size, because in my head, I didn't expect it to be that huge to that extent. But she waddled in and she had to side step through the door. Okay, but she had a very adorable, cute face, and she had curly blonde hair. She looked like Goldilocks, but if Goldilocks ate the three bears. All what was going in my head at that point, I don't know what to do with that, and I don't know how to do that, because even though I am very gifted and impressive down there, I just didn't know how it is going to reach it through all this deep fat. Anyway, we sat, talked and giggled, and I said, you know what, let's hit the bedroom for a massage. We got naked and I laid my hands on her, rubbing all those rolls and flaps, lumps and bumps, and bam, I felt electricity coursing through my veins. You see, I love sex and I love touching very much. Touching, fondling, groping, squeezing. So massaging her in such way, I felt like a kid in a candy store, but instead it is full of flesh beyond my wildest dreams, and it's all mine. I felt like I was swimming in a vast ocean of flesh, with waves of rolls pushing me up and down with it. Exactly like the movie Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. If you haven't watched it, it is great. It will show you exactly what I mean. And here is the strange thing. She was very smooth and shaven down there, and she does it herself, not with a professional help. And she was flexible as a circus acrobat. I mean, she knew how to work with that body of that size. And she smelled and tasted divine, like pina colada, a mixture of vanilla and pineapple and coconuts. And her skin felt like custard and marshmallows in my mouth. I mean, it was not just heaven, it was a huge sensory bliss. And she was a phenomenal kisser. We kissed so hard and so deep, with such consuming passion. I felt I was like a block of butter melting between her luscious lips. And you should have seen the way she flung her legs wide open. I didn't expect that she could do that because of her size, and I couldn't help myself but to dive deep in and eat her vag out. And oh. It was like sipping on morning dew, so sweet and fresh on my tongue, and her vag was like a hidden marvel. Soft pink folds framed by smooth skin, a beauty I would only imagine. And when I started pounding her, her whole body moved back and forth. It felt like the whole room is moving with it. The sensation and the intensity was up to 11. She didn't just take me in, it felt like she swallowed all of me. My full body just plunged into her vag. Think about it for a second. You're a guy who loves women and you are a vag obsessed. Then banging a fat woman that size doesn't just feel like you're banging her with only your penis. No, it feels like your whole body is a penis diving into her. A seismic collision. And when I came so hard for so long. I wasn't just grunting, I was screaming like a bear roaring after feasting on a fresh hunt. It left me exhausted and drained, yet strangely rejuvenated all at once. You have no idea how much I thanked her. I was overflowing with gratitude because she has given me an experience I never dreamed of. And the best part, after all that, we ordered piles of food and binged TV shows and movies, and her face was glowing with happiness and satisfaction, and that made me feel so good. The reason she hired me was only her insecurity. She thought that paying cash for my time would make her feel protected and shielded. But I told her she had nothing to worry about. She had everything to give, a true treasure of joy. My point of the story is, don't knock it until you try it. Step out of your prissy little box.
Oh my, is anyone else feeling hot and sweaty, or is it just me?
Now, let's dive into banging, but as a fat person. So you've put on some or a lot of weight, and you are rocking saggy man boobs, a flabby ass, a drooping gut, back fat, wobbly arm, double chin, you know, the whole fries with cheese package. So basically, you're no longer that ripped, muscled stud muffin you used to be. So how does that affect your sex life and unlocks wild new bedroom adventures? Listen, I was a bodybuilder for 20 years, but after my second divorce, I discovered carbs and weed, and I slid down a very greasy slope, but I don't regret any bite of it. But now, I'm sure many of you are saying,
That's why you're making this video. Because you have ballooned like a beach whale. You don't care about fat people. You don't care about fighting stigma. You just want to feel good about yourself and your laziness and gluttony. Fatty, boom, boom, shitty, bang, bang. That's what you are. It is just your subconscious mind trying to make you stop hating yourself for being fat. I've got your number now.
well, now you're just being a swaggering dipshit who thinks that he's a genius, when in fact he is spewing diarrhea out of his idiot mouth. However, you got one thing almost right, just one thing. I'm not making this video because I need to feel good about myself. No, I am making this video because I already feel great about myself. Let me explain. After my second divorce, I didn't just gain weight. I let myself go completely, just like a pirate swapping his treasure for a hammock. You see, in the past, I used to be super vain. The beard has to be trimmed in a certain way, a hairstyle and dyeing the gray hair, certain brands of clothing, everything had to be organic and biodynamic, including my toothpaste. Even my toothbrush had to be all natural, made with horses or boar's hair. It was a nightmare, but after the second divorce, I ditched all that and I stopped giving a crap. However, the only two things, I still do is that I never drink tap water, only spring water for me and my dog. and my organic Japanese 𝗀𝗂𝗽𝗏 green tea, because nothing says rebel like fancy water. Anyway, after my second divorce, even my wild, rich, busy sex life, it just hit a dead end for a very long time, just like a fart that squeezed out without an oomph. Just like this. Anyway, when I decided to jump back into the meat market, I wasn't confident in my own skin. Not just from pudging out, but because I no longer looked the same. Big hair, bushy beard, I looked very scary. Just like those Muslims from the grooming gangs in the UK, who walk the street leering at little girls, I looked that scary. But also, I did not want to do any effort to make myself look better, because now I am in my 40s, I just cannot be bothered with the effort. So, on the hooking apps like Tinder and Bumbles, I didn't put clear pictures of myself. No, I only sent my face pictures privately, no body pictures, but for sure and of course I had to flaunt my dick pictures because it has been always impressive and handsome, and it keeps getting better with age. I know it is superficial, it is childish, I am a man child, so what? Anyway, my online profiles screamed creepy weirdo vibes. However, if escorting taught me anything, is to always play to your strength. And one of those strengths is my love for eating out. So I wrote the following on all my profiles. I am an eating out insatiable aficionado for hours, deeply and passionately. You just lie there and soak it up, ladies. You don't have to do anything in return or even make small talk. Now, that is an offer that it is very hard to say no to. Of course, my impressive endowment and my not too shabby face sweeten the deal, since women generally don't get that kind of selfless attention. I mean, eating out, it is truly my obsession, especially with couple of wheat puffs. It just makes it more immersive experience, and it feels like bouncing on a cloud. I didn't do coffee date nonsense or meeting before we get to it. No, I told them, listen, you come to my place, and if you didn't feel comfortable when meeting me at the door, it's okay, you can leave. It is not a rejection. It's just apples and oranges. I am chill that way. And because I wasn't confident in my own skin, I would only put very dim red lights all over my place, because red light makes everything looks flawless. It evens everything out. Even if you have baggy eyes with dark circles around, it will make everything looks perfect. And I would put a certain playlist of music, not sexy, but it's more sexual with dangerous vibe music. And this is my second strength. I know how to create an environment that compensates for whatever is lacking. And yet, they all stepped into my place. Why? Because of my third strength. I have a certain inviting charisma that puts people at ease when meeting face to face and look them into the eyes, even if I don't say any word. Anyway, we get down to it immediately, no chit chat. The ladies would just get naked and lie down and get ready for the ride of their lives, and I go right in between their legs. They would get eaten out like never before, and they get so turned on and so grateful, they would want me to go all the way in, if you catch my drift. They would ask for it. And here is the twist. Those ladies who came over were all drop dead gorgeous. They were the kind of beautiful women who ignored me and rejected me back in the days when I was a huge muscle bodybuilder, and now they called me a beast. It threw me at first. I was confused by this, but then it clicked. I am in my 40s now. I have lost the old sex appeal, but I have picked up a swagger I never had back then. It is like I am striding into my own league now. And great sex isn't about looks, it's about what we are both into and the chemistry that would ignite out of that. Of course, I'm talking about casual sex scenario here. And also that taught me that sex and attraction in 40s is completely different from your teens and 20s and 30s, and will be different in 50s and 60s and so on. It will continue, but in a very different way. And this is the amazing thing. You keep discovering yourself sexually over and over again as you get older. So gaining weight did not just unlock new and different type of women for me, but a whole new level of psychological and physical pleasure. The way women touch me and feel my body now is different than when I had muscles. I mean, I get belly rubs before and during and after sex, and I absolutely love it. And I get a lot of biting and squeezing, and it is super intense. And these women are ravenous and voracious, making sex mind-blowing and super intense. I've always had great sex, but now it feels like it's a whole upgrade to a different level. And get this, I am a daddy now because of my age and my body size. And I thought that this kind of role play and name calling is only exclusive to gays. But it turns out that women, they love that stuff, and they cook up amazing intense scenarios that I find it super cool and super turn on, as long as they don't do the baby talk. I'm not into that. So if you're a fat guy or a lady, let me tell you, wasting time on securities is a crime against pleasure. Because sex rocks when it is about fun, not looks. Back when I was younger, I truly believed that physical attraction is the spark and it is super important. But now I know better, and this is a great sign of maturity. So if you have gained some or a lot of weight, don't even think that it will hinder you from having a wonderful and great sex life. Just play to your strength and flaunt what you've got. Now I'm sure some people are going to scream and say,
Now wait a second. Aren't you encouraging and endorsing unhealthy lifestyle by saying that it is okay to be fat? Oh.
Now that's another anal retentive comment, but also a very fair point. However, this is not what this episode is about. We're not diving into health lectures here. We are exploring what sex is like with a fat person or as one, focusing on rocking a confident sex life despite the body size and feeling good in your own skin. But let me just say one thing about this issue. Yes, fat people can face health issues. But let's look at wrestlers and boxers, for example. They have very sexy bodies, but they are also battered with injuries and physical issues because of this aggressive sports. Why aren't you picking on them? Even healthy people at normal weight deal with their own health issues. So no, banging a fat person does not mean we are pushing unhealthy lifestyle. Everyone has their cross to bear. People gain weight for different reasons. Some because of depression. Some are on medications that causes gait weight. Some have very stressful lives. Some have very long hours of work that they don't have a chance to eat healthy. My point is, there is more to it than meets the eye.
Okay, we get it now. But what about calling overweight people fatties and uggos? Why?
Okay, thank you for circling back on that. Listen, These are just words and sounds. Their impact depends on you, not on the clown spewing them. Someone might scream at you, yes, fatty, uggo, lard ass, fat fuck, hog, porker, top of lard, to hurt and offend you. But here is the thing, sweetheart. Even if you are the most gorgeous human being on the planet, inside and out, some idiot somewhere will still find something about you to insult you with. Show me the hottest girl or a guy, and I'll show you somebody who's sick and tired of fucking them. Show me the juiciest peach on earth, and I'll show you someone who's disgusted by peaches. So toughen up and get over yourself. It is a human nature. It is part of life. It would only bother you if you have negative beliefs attached to those words. Being fat doesn't make you less than, unless that's what you believe in. Your feelings are your responsibility, not anyone else's. How words impact you is your responsibility. Ask yourself this: what matters most, people's perception of you or your perception of yourself, aka how you see and value yourself? If you hate what you see in the mirror, by all means do something about it. But stop asking people to change what they say or don't say in order for you to feel good about yourself and fit in. Don't victimize yourself that way. Your happiness depends on who you are. It surely doesn't depend on how people see you or accept you or approve of you. And sure as hell, it does not depend on being in a relationship with somebody who accepts you as you are. No. The most important bond is the one that you have with yourself, your relationship with yourself. So be kind and loving, and I want you to nurture your inner champ. So what if you're a porker or a fat pig? Pigs are jolly, and there are so many people who would get off on piggy play, if you know what I mean. So I want you to learn to fire back. If somebody calls you, you're a fat pig, tell them, hell yes I am, and I'm gonna eat you out like one. If somebody calls you a top of lard, tell them, yes I am. You don't need lube with me, just slide it in. If somebody calls you a fat ass, tell them, a bigger surface for you to spank, have at it. Listen, before we close the door on this issue, if being fat is not your type, give it a go. Start small and build up. Yeah, as I said, they might not dazzle your eye, but the sexual experience, it's a whole different feast. And if you have put on some or a lot of weight, you know what? You have unlocked sexual kinks, sensations, and pleasures you never dreamed that you would experience.
Take care of yourself, because self-care is awesome.
So, we have reached the end of this video. And as always, we love views, followers, people sharing our content. But what we truly care about is to build a community of like-minded people. So come and join our email list. It is for free, and we will only send you when we need your suggestions or opinions about certain topics so we can keep creating content that you love. And we are on all social platforms. We even have a channel on Telegram and WhatsApp. The links in the description of this recording. And if you're feeling generous and you would like to make it rain and you support our show, there is a GoFundMe link. You know, a little can go so far to help us keep doing what we're doing. At last but not least, I'm not real. None of this is real. All this could be a simulation or a figment of your or someone else's imagination. All what you see or seeing could be nothing but a dream within a dream.